Captain Elias Riker's boots sank slightly into the soft, glowing soil as he stepped out of the landing pod. Around him stretched a landscape unlike any he had ever seen. The sky shimmered with colors that seemed almost alive, streaks of deep purple and emerald green weaving across the horizon. Bioluminescent plants swayed gently in the warm breeze, their lights pulsing like slow rhythmic heartbeats. Towering crystalline structures rose from the ground like jagged mountains, refracting the light into a kaleidoscope of colors. Elias exhaled slowly, taking in the alien beauty. As the captain of the human exploratory vessel Aurelia, he had seen many strange planets in his career, but this one felt different. It was silent in a way that was almost too perfect. Even the wind seemed to carry a faint hum, as if the planet itself were alive and listening. "Captain," called Lieutenant Mara, her voice crackling over the comms. "The scans are off the charts. Energy readings here are higher than anything in this sector. Whatever is on this planet, it's not natural." Elias nodded, keeping his gaze fixed on the nearest crystal spire. "Understood. Keep the scanners active, but stay alert. I want visual confirmation before we move deeper." The rest of the team stepped carefully out of the pod, each member pausing to marvel at the glowing flora and the crystalline landscape. Dr. Soren, the team's xenobiologist, crouched to examine a cluster of luminescent flowers. "Fascinating," he murmured. "These plants seem to respond to our presence. Look at how the lights brighten when we approach." Elias approached the nearest crystal formation. His gloved hand hovered just above its surface, careful not to touch it yet. A faint vibration ran through the crystal, almost like it was alive. He glanced back at his team. "Stay sharp. This planet is giving us signals, but we don't know what they mean yet." For hours they explored the grove, taking readings, recording samples, and trying to understand the strange energy patterns. The atmosphere was breathable, but it carried a faint electrical charge that made hair stand on end and skin tingle. The team wore minimal protective gear, but every instinct told Elias that they were on the edge of something extraordinary. It was near the largest crystal formation, a spire that towered like a cathedral when Elias noticed it. A faint shimmer in the corner of his vision. He turned slowly, scanning the grove, and then he saw her. She stepped out from between two massive crystals, her movements fluid and calm, almost as if she belonged to the land itself. She was humanoid, but unlike anything human. Her skin had a soft, silvery glow, and her eyes shimmered like liquid light. Hair flowed behind her in waves that seemed to float even without wind. Elias felt an odd familiarity, a connection that made him stop breathing for a moment. "Who, or what is that?" whispered Mara behind him. Elias said nothing. He only stared, his instincts telling him that this encounter mattered. The figure moved closer, her steps silent on the glowing soil. Without warning, she extended a hand toward him. Elias froze. His mind raced. He had trained for first contact scenarios, but nothing could prepare him for this. Something deep inside told him to trust her. Something older than reason, older than logic. Then slowly he reached out. His hand met hers, and the moment their fingers touched, a warm, electric sensation ran through his body. It wasn't painful. It wasn't frightening. It was connection. She guided him forward, past the glowing flowers and crystalline spires, toward a larger structure at the heart of the grove. The structure pulsed softly, a rhythm that seemed to match the cadence of Elias's heartbeat. It was enormous, spiraling toward the sky, carved from crystal and light, with veins of energy flowing across its surface like rivers of fire. The rest of the team hesitated. "Captain, wait," Mara called. "We don't know if," but Elias only smiled faintly, still holding the alien's hand. "She means no harm," he said calmly. His voice carried a certainty that surprised even him. "Follow if you want, but trust her. I don't know. I just trust her." Reluctantly, the team followed, forming a cautious line behind Elias. Each step toward the structure felt heavier, as though the air itself carried a weight of history and power. The alien being did not speak in words, but through some unspoken connection, Elias felt her intentions. She was guiding them, not as a captor, but as a teacher, a bridge to something far greater than themselves. As they approached the base of the crystal structure, the air shimmered, and faint images flickered across its surface. Scenes of planets, stars, and civilizations flashed by. Elias blinked, unsure if his eyes were playing tricks or if the crystal truly displayed visions of distant worlds. The alien squeezed his hand gently, and suddenly the images slowed, focusing on a small blue-green planet far across the galaxy. "That's Earth," Elias murmured, awestruck. The visions of cities, oceans, forests, and human life filled his mind. Not as memory, but as knowledge. He felt a strange pride, a recognition that humanity had a place among the stars. Dr. Soren gasped behind him. "It's showing us possibilities, futures, histories. We're seeing potential paths for life across the galaxy." Mara's expression was wary, or warnings. "This could be a trap." Elias shook his head. "No, I feel it differently. It's guiding us, not threatening us." The alien being led him closer to the structure's center. The pulsing light intensified, and Elias felt an almost musical resonance in his chest. It was like the structure could sense his emotions, his intentions, his very essence. Then came a voice, not spoken aloud, but inside his mind, clear and melodic. "You are different. Your species carries the spark that others have lost. You can feel, you can choose, you can connect." Elias blinked, his heart pounding. I understand," he whispered mentally. The words felt natural, as if he had always known them. The structure shifted subtly, as if acknowledging his response. Light cascaded along its crystalline surface, forming shapes that resembled human hands reaching outward, welcoming. Elias realized that the planet, the structure, and this being were all connected. They were alive in ways humanity had never imagined. Suddenly, a low hum grew louder, vibrating through the ground and their bodies. The structure reacted to the alien's presence and somehow to Elias himself. Patterns of light swirled faster, creating shapes that told a story. Humans, the alien seemed to say, are unique among intelligent life. They survive where others fail, adapt where others cannot, and feel in ways that transcend logic. Mara frowned but stayed close. "Captain, this is unreal. How is this possible?" Elias squeezed the alien's hand again, letting the warmth anchor him. "I don't know yet, but I think we've been chosen to learn." Hours passed, or maybe minutes. Time felt distorted as they stood before the structure. Elias absorbed the visions, the energy, and the unspoken lessons the alien offered. His team took readings, but Elias knew that data alone could never capture the profound connection he felt. Finally, the alien gently released his hand. Elias stepped back, feeling a slight emptiness but also a surge of purpose. She nodded once, an acknowledgement of trust, and began to step back into the grove. "Wait," Elias called, wanting to speak, to ask her name, to understand. But she only smiled faintly and disappeared among the glowing flora, leaving a faint trail of light in her wake. Elias turned to his team. "We have work to do," he said. "But this changes everything. This planet, this being, whatever it is, it proves that humans are capable of connecting with life in ways no one else can." Dr. Soren's eyes sparkled. "We've discovered the unknown, and it knows us." Mara, still cautious, nodded slowly. "And maybe it trusts us. For now." Elias looked back at the towering crystal structure, still pulsing with light. He knew this was only the beginning. They had arrived, but their real journey, the one that would test their courage, their intelligence, and their humanity, was just beginning. As night fell on the alien world, the bioluminescent plants lit their path, and Elias felt a deep connection not only to the planet but to the species he represented. Humans were explorers, dreamers, and connectors, and somewhere deep inside him, he knew that the alien who had taken his hand would guide them even further, toward discoveries that could reshape humanity's place in the stars. And in that quiet, glowing world, Captain Elias Riker realized that sometimes the simplest gesture, a hand held, a step forward, could open doors to entire universes. The morning light on the alien world was soft and strange, filtered through the crystalline spires that towered around the grove. Captain Elias Riker awoke in the landing pod, his thoughts still swirling with the memory of the alien who had taken his hand. She was still vivid in his mind, the warmth of her touch lingering like a tether to this mysterious place. "Captain," Mara's voice came through the comm, careful but alert. "You need to see this." Elias stepped outside. The team had gathered near the crystal structure, which now seemed to pulse with a steady rhythm, almost like breathing. Dr. Soren was crouched, scanning the ground and crystals with multiple devices. "It's reacting," he said excitedly. "The energy patterns are stabilizing. I think it's waiting." Elias frowned. Waiting for what? Before anyone could answer, A familiar shimmer appeared among the glowing plants. She emerged again. The alien humanoid with silvery skin and flowing hair. This time she came without hesitation, her eyes focusing on Elias as if seeking reassurance. Slowly, she extended her hand. Elias didn't hesitate. He stepped forward and took it. Immediately, his mind was filled with images and sounds that defied ordinary perception. He saw the crystal structure from the inside, not as walls or stone, but as a living entity. Streams of light moved like rivers of thought, connecting nodes that pulsed with intelligence. He felt the structure's awareness, a vast consciousness older than any species humanity had encountered. "You are the first of your kind to touch me." The alien's voice echoed inside his mind, melodic and clear. Others could not connect. They approached with curiosity, with hunger, with fear. You approach with heart and intent. You understand without asking. You choose. Elias blinked, overwhelmed. I understand. He wasn't sure if he did, but the connection itself made him trust her words. The alien guided him to the base of the crystal spire. There, the surface shifted beneath their feet, revealing patterns that resembled both maps and symbols. They glowed brighter as he stepped closer. The alien's touch on his hand was a gentle anchor, steadying him as visions swirled in his mind. He saw civilizations rising and falling across galaxies, their histories intertwined with energy flows similar to those within the crystal. Some species failed, consumed by aggression or indifference. Others prospered, but none had the emotional resonance that humanity carried. "Your species carries a spark," the alien explained. "You feel, you choose, you care. You are capable of connection, not just with each other, but with the world itself. That is why you are here." Elias looked at her awestruck. "Why us? Why humans?" The alien didn't answer in words. Instead, she guided his hand to a smooth section of the crystal. Light flowed into his palm, warm and vibrant. Images flooded his mind: humanity, Earth, the struggles, the triumphs, the small acts of courage and kindness repeated over millennia. "You are the bridge," he heard in his mind. "The galaxy is full of life, but most have lost the ability to connect, to harmonize. You can restore what has been lost. You can guide without domination. You can see without consuming." Dr. Soren stepped closer, eyes wide. "Captain?" "The readings are insane. The energy here, it's like it's alive. And it reacts to him." Elias nodded. "It reacts to us, but especially to us. Humans. Somehow this structure recognizes something unique in us." Mara, still cautious, folded her arms. "Or it's testing us. Something that powerful doesn't just open itself up without reason." The alien's presence reassured him. She gestured with her hand and the structure shifted, forming a pathway that led inside. Elias understood instinctively. This was an invitation. Not a trap, but a chance to learn, to connect with knowledge and experience beyond anything humanity had ever encountered. The team hesitated at the entrance, but Elias stepped forward, holding out a hand for Mara to join him. "We can do this," he said firmly. "We need to trust that our intentions matter here. That's what makes us human." Mara took his hand reluctantly, and together, the team followed the alien into the crystalline interior. The moment they stepped inside, the air itself seemed to hum with energy. The walls glowed softly, displaying images that shifted with every heartbeat. It was as if the structure was alive, responding not just to their presence, but to their emotions, their thoughts, their intentions. Elias led the way, feeling both excitement and a profound responsibility. He had always believed that humanity had potential, but here, in this alien cathedral of light and energy, he saw the proof. Humans were capable of connection in ways no other species could. The alien guided them to a chamber at the heart of the structure. Light flowed along the walls, forming patterns that told stories without words. Civilizations, technologies, and cultures flashed by, each connected by streams of energy. Elias reached out to touch one of the streams, and instantly, a vision of a distant world filled his mind. A civilization destroyed not by war, but by its inability to empathize, to balance knowledge with compassion. "They failed," the alien's voice echoed. "But you can succeed where others could not. You carry the spark of choice, of moral insight. You are not just explorers, you are stewards." Elias swallowed hard. "Steward of what?" "Of knowledge, of life. Of connection itself," she replied. As they moved deeper, the structure displayed more visions, this time of humanity itself. The alien showed moments of bravery, compassion, and creativity. Elias watched a young child help an injured animal, A scientist risk everything to save a colony. A teacher inspire generations. Each act, no matter how small, resonated within the structure like a note in a symphony. Dr. Soren whispered, "It's like it's learning from us, understanding us." Elias nodded. "Not just learning. It's responding to the best parts of us." Mara finally relaxed slightly. "Maybe you're right, Captain. Maybe humans really are different." The alien guided Elias to a central core of the structure, a crystalline formation that pulsed brighter than the rest. The energy here was intense, almost overwhelming. He could feel it inside him, as if the structure's consciousness were reaching into his own mind. "Here lies the heart of knowledge," the alien said. "Many have tried to reach it, but none succeeded. You are capable." Elias reached out and touched the core. Light surged into him, filling his vision with swirling images, patterns, and concepts he could barely comprehend. He felt information about faster-than-light travel, sustainable planetary systems, and interstellar communication, knowledge humanity could use, if they were wise enough to understand it. Suddenly, an alarm-like vibration echoed through the chamber. The structure shifted, defensive patterns forming along the walls. The energy around them intensified. Elias realized that something or someone inside the structure perceived them as a potential threat. "Mara, everyone, stay calm," Elias shouted. "We need to show them we mean no harm." He focused, recalling the alien's words. Humans connect through intent, through emotion, through understanding. Closing his eyes, he reached out with his mind and heart, sending calm and openness into the structure. The pulsing energy slowed, the defensive patterns retracting. The core responded to him not with aggression but with recognition. "You are worthy," the alien said. "Your species has the capacity we have long sought. You can guide. You can connect. You can balance knowledge with empathy." The team let out breaths they didn't realize they were holding. The chamber returned to its calm, radiant glow. Elias felt a sense of profound responsibility. Humanity had been chosen not to dominate but to nurture. As they prepared to leave the chamber, the alien spoke one final time, her touch gentle on his hand. "Remember, you are the bridge. Your species can restore what others have lost. Protect it, cherish it, and choose wisely." Elias nodded. "We will." Outside, the grove glowed in the soft light of the alien world. Elias turned to his team, their faces a mix of awe and determination. "This is just the beginning," he said. "What we've learned today, it can change everything about how we explore, how we connect, and how we live." Dr. Soren smiled, energized by the discovery. "Captain, this knowledge, if we use it wisely, it could accelerate humanity's place among the stars." Mara nodded, her skepticism replaced by cautious hope. "We'll have to be careful. But maybe we can do it. Maybe humans really can be the bridge she believes we are." Elias glanced toward the horizon, where the alien had vanished among the glowing plants. He didn't know when or if they would meet again, but he felt the same pull, the same connection that had guided him before. Humans were capable of understanding, of empathy, of courage. And this alien world had shown him that in a way nothing else could. And somewhere deep in his chest, Elias Riker knew that the hand he had held would guide him, and humanity, closer to truths they had never dreamed of, and to responsibilities they had never imagined. The journey had begun and the stars were waiting. The team had returned to the crystal structure after the revelations of the previous day. The glow of the spires was softer now, more welcoming, as if the planet itself acknowledged their presence. Captain Elias Riker led the group cautiously, his senses alert. The alien who had first guided him was waiting near the entrance to a chamber deeper within the structure. She extended her hand, and Elias took it, feeling that familiar warmth and reassurance. "This way," she conveyed without words, her voice echoing gently inside his mind. Elias felt the pull of the structure guiding them forward. Each step into the chamber felt heavier, the air thick with energy, yet it carried a promise, a chance to prove themselves. As they entered, the walls around them shifted. Crystalline panels rotated and formed patterns that seemed alive, changing shape with every heartbeat. The team's equipment buzzed with energy, but it was useless for measuring what was coming. This trial was not one of technology. It was a test of intuition, courage, and understanding. The first obstacle appeared as a series of shimmering pathways suspended above a glowing chasm. Each path seemed fragile, like it could vanish at any moment. Elias studied the patterns carefully. "Step carefully, trust your instincts," he said. "Move one at a time and watch each other." Mara stepped forward first, her boots barely making a sound on the crystal path. Dr. Soren followed, carefully tracing each glowing line with his eyes. When it was Elias's turn, the alien extended her hand. "Hold on," he whispered to himself, taking it. The path beneath him felt solid, yet it flickered, reacting to his confidence. As he walked, he realized the trial was more than a physical challenge. The path tested their ability to trust, to remain calm under pressure. Every hesitation made the floor tremble slightly, while steady focus strengthened the crystalline bridge. Elias guided his team, reminding them to breathe, to trust themselves, and to rely on each other. When they reached the other side, a new challenge appeared, a room filled with shifting light and shadow. The walls displayed illusions of their fears, magnified and distorted. Elias saw visions of the Aurelia lost in space, his crew trapped in endless darkness. Mara faced images of failure and betrayal, while Dr. Soren confronted the loss of all knowledge he had worked to collect. The alien touched Elias's shoulder. "Do not fear what is not real. See the truth beneath the illusion." Elias closed his eyes and reached inside himself. He focused on what he knew to be true, their skills, their courage, and their bonds. Slowly, the illusions dissolved, replaced by a soft glow that lit the path forward. He opened his eyes. The shadows had vanished. "Keep moving," he urged the team. "Trust your minds, trust your hearts." The next chamber was quieter but more daunting. It was vast, filled with floating geometric shapes, twisting corridors, and streams of flowing light. As they moved, the shapes rearranged themselves, creating puzzles that challenged logic and perception. Symbols appeared on the walls, responding to the team's choices. One wrong move and pathways would shift, forcing them to start over. Elias recognized the purpose immediately. The structure was testing their problem-solving, but also their cooperation. Each puzzle required more than intelligence. It required communication, observation, and empathy. Humans, he realized, had an advantage here. They could combine intuition with reasoning, emotion with logic. Hours passed as the team worked together. When frustration threatened to take hold, Elias reminded them of the lessons from the alien. "We are not alone here. We can feel, we can understand, we can connect. That is our strength." Finally, they reached a chamber that seemed to stretch infinitely in all directions. Light flowed like rivers, and enormous crystalline arches formed shapes that were almost musical. The alien stood at the center, motionless, waiting. "This is the final test," she conveyed. "Here your choices matter more than strength, intelligence, or speed. Here you must demonstrate what it means to be human." From the light, projections emerged. They were not illusions, but echoes of other civilizations the structure had encountered. Each had failed the trials, consumed by fear, pride, or indifference. Elias felt a heavy weight as he saw the mistakes of those who came before. "They did not understand connection," the alien said. "They could not see beyond themselves. You can." A projection approached, mimicking Elias. It was silent but radiated doubt, fear, and hesitation. Elias realized that this trial was deeply personal. To succeed, he had to confront not just external challenges but his own insecurities. He raised his hand toward the projection. "I see you," he said aloud. "I understand your fear, but I will not let it control me. I will choose courage." The projection wavered, then dissolved into light. The chamber brightened, revealing a path leading toward the heart of the structure. One by one, the team faced their personal echoes. Mara confronted self-doubt. Dr. Soren faced fear of loss and emerged stronger. Guided by Elias and the alien's presence, finally, they arrived at the central chamber, a cathedral of flowing light and crystal. At its center was a sphere of pure energy, pulsating with knowledge and awareness. Elias reached out, and the alien's hand rested gently on his shoulder. "This is the culmination," she said. "To touch this is to accept responsibility. Knowledge alone is not enough. You must balance it with empathy, with compassion, with understanding." Elias closed his eyes and focused. He thought of his team, of humanity, of the small acts of kindness and courage that defined his species. The sphere reacted, its energy intertwining with his own, flowing into him like a river of insight. The chamber hummed with approval. The alien stepped back, letting him lead the team closer. "You have proven yourselves. Not through strength, not through speed, not through cleverness alone. You have proven yourselves through choice, through heart, through connection. Dr. Soren whispered, awed. It's giving us everything. Knowledge, history, understanding. We can learn so much from this. Mara nodded slowly, still absorbing the moment. And we have a responsibility now. We can't misuse it. We have to be careful. Elias looked at the alien. We understand. Humans can make mistakes, but we can also choose better. We can connect, learn, and protect what matters. The alien's glow softened, her presence calm and reassuring. Then you are ready. Use what you have gained wisely. Lead, connect, and nurture. Your species has potential that others have long lost. Do not squander it. The sphere's light receded slightly, signaling the end of the trial. Elias felt exhaustion, but also a deep sense of accomplishment. They had faced fear, uncertainty, and their own limitations and emerged stronger. As they prepared to leave the chamber, Elias realized something profound. The structure did not just test knowledge or skill. It tested character, empathy, and humanity itself. Humans were capable of connecting where others could not. That was their strength, their uniqueness, and their responsibility. Outside, the grove glowed in soft hues of green and purple. Elias turned to his team, pride and determination in his eyes. We've passed the trials, he said. But this is just the beginning. What we've learned here, how we've connected, it will guide everything we do from now on. Dr. Soren smiled, energized by the experience. It's more than knowledge. It's understanding. We can see what others could not, feel what others could not. We can make a difference. Mara nodded, her previous skepticism replaced by determination. Then we will. We will carry this forward, and we'll do it the right way. The alien stood silently for a moment, then motioned for Elias to follow. They walked together toward the edge of the grove, where the soft light of the horizon met the glowing crystals. Elias felt the familiar connection, the warmth of her hand and the sense of purpose she conveyed. You have chosen wisely, she said, and your journey continues. Remember what you have learned here. Share it with your people, protect it, nurture it, and always connect. Elias nodded, understanding the depth of her message. Humans were not merely explorers. They were stewards, bridges, and guides. Their uniqueness lay in their ability to choose, to care, and to connect. That was a responsibility and a gift they could not ignore. As the alien faded into the glowing grove, Elias felt a renewed sense of purpose. The trials had tested them, but humanity had proven itself capable. And somewhere deep in his chest, he knew that the hand he had held would guide him and humanity closer to discovery's challenges and responsibilities that awaited among the stars. The crystalline spires shimmered one last time as they left the chamber. Elias glanced back, knowing the structure was alive, aware, and now allied with humanity. It had chosen them, not because they were the strongest, the fastest, or the smartest, but because they could feel, understand, and act with heart. And in that realization, Elias Riker knew that humans truly had a place among the stars. The journey ahead would be difficult, but they were ready. They had passed the trials, learned the lessons, and embraced the responsibility. Humans were capable of extraordinary things, and this alien world had shown them the way. For the first time in history, Elias understood the true potential of his species, and it was magnificent. The alien world was quiet now, bathed in a soft glow as the crystalline spires reflected the light of its twin suns. Captain Elias Riker and his team emerged from the heart of the crystal structure, their minds and spirits still buzzing with the trials they had endured. They were changed, not just by the knowledge they had gained, but by the profound understanding of humanity's place in the universe. Dr. Soren was the first to speak, his voice filled with awe. Captain, I don't think we fully understand what we've learned. The structure, the trials, it's more than science. It's wisdom, Elias nodded. It's a reminder that knowledge alone is not enough. Humans have something others don't. Intuition, empathy, the ability to choose. That's what made us worthy of this planet's trust. Mara, still processing the experience, looked toward the horizon. We've seen what humans are capable of, but also what we must protect. This knowledge, it can change everything. We have a responsibility. Elias placed a hand on her shoulder. Exactly. And we start here, on this planet, by learning how to apply it wisely. As they explored the grove once more, they noticed the alien waiting for them at the edge of a bioluminescent forest. She was calm, radiant, and serene. Her eyes met Elias's, and for a moment no words were needed. He felt her acknowledgement of their accomplishments, her recognition of humanity's courage, empathy, and resilience. She extended her hand once again. Without hesitation, Elias took it. The familiar warmth and reassurance flowed through him, grounding his thoughts and feelings. This connection was no longer just a guide. It was a bond, a symbol of trust and partnership between species. "You have completed the trials." Her voice echoed in his mind. "You have shown that humans are capable of wisdom, courage, and connection. You understand the responsibility that comes with knowledge." Elias felt a deep sense of pride, not for himself but for his species. Humanity had been tested and they had proven themselves. "We understand," he replied silently. "We will protect what we've learned and use it wisely." The alien smiled and the structure responded. Light flowed along the crystalline spires, casting intricate patterns across the grove. It was as if the planet itself celebrated the success of humanity. Elias could feel the pulse of energy in the air, a resonance that spoke of harmony and balance. Suddenly, a low vibration traveled through the ground. Elias instinctively reached out to his team. "Stay close. Something's coming." From the glowing soil, a series of floating orbs emerged, each containing a holographic image of distant worlds. These were not just visions, they were lessons, histories, and experiences of civilizations long gone. Elias realized that the planet was offering humanity a gift, the collective wisdom of countless species. Dr. Soren gasped. "It's giving us everything. Knowledge, history, insight. We could learn more in a year here than humanity has in 1,000 years. Mara frowned. "We have to be careful. Knowledge without understanding can be dangerous." Elias nodded. "Exactly. That's why we need to take it slowly, learn its lessons, and teach our people how to respect it. This is more than discovery. It's stewardship." The alien guided them to a large crystal platform at the center of the grove. She gestured for Elias to step forward. As he did, a light formed above the platform, creating a sphere of energy that pulsed with life. The alien touched his hand gently, and he felt a fragment of her consciousness merge with his. It was brief but profound. He could sense her thoughts, her intentions, and her hope for humanity. "This gift," she said, "is a seed. Plant it wisely. Share it carefully. Lead with your heart, and humanity can bring balance to worlds that have lost their way." Elias felt a swell of emotion. He realized that the alien had given humanity more than knowledge. She had given them trust, partnership, and hope. He glanced at his team, seeing the same mixture of wonder and determination reflected in their eyes. Dr. Soren stepped closer. "Captain, what do we do now?" Elias looked out over the grove at the glowing flora, the crystalline towers, and the soft hum of energy surrounding them. "We take what we've learned and return to humanity. We show them the value of connection, empathy, and wisdom. We lead by example, not by force. We carry this knowledge, but more importantly, we carry responsibility." Mara's voice was quiet but firm. "We'll need to plan carefully. The galaxy is vast, and not all will understand the importance of what we've found." Elias nodded. "True, but humans have a strength no other species has. The ability to learn, adapt, and choose. That is our advantage, and it is what will guide us forward." The alien stepped back, her form beginning to shimmer and fade. Elias squeezed her hand one last time. "We will honor your trust. We will be worthy." She smiled, her presence blending with the glow of the grove. "I know you will. And remember, I am always watching, guiding in ways you may not see. Humanity's journey has only just begun." As she disappeared, the structure's pulsing light softened, settling into a gentle rhythm. Elias turned to his team. "We've learned more than we could have imagined. But it's not just about what we know. It's about how we use it. We're the bridge between knowledge and wisdom." Dr. Soren grinned. "And we have the best teacher we could ever have." Mara nodded. "Then let's make sure we're ready for what comes next. Humanity has a lot to prove, and a lot to protect." The team spent the rest of the day exploring the grove, recording data, and absorbing the lessons the planet offered. Each discovery reinforced what Elias had realized. Humans were capable of extraordinary things, not just because of intelligence, but because of heart, intuition, and empathy. When it was time to leave, they gathered at the landing pod. Elias took one last look at the glowing spires, the soft hum of energy, and the bioluminescent flora. He felt a profound connection to this world, to the alien who had guided them, and to humanity itself. "This planet has shown us what we can become," he said softly. "Not just explorers, but stewards, leaders, and connectors. Humans are capable of greatness if we choose it." The pod lifted off, leaving the grove behind. As they ascended, the structure's glow seemed to wave goodbye, a silent acknowledgement of trust and partnership. Elias watched the horizon, knowing that this was not the end, but the beginning of a new chapter for humanity. During the journey back to Earth, the team reflected on what they had experienced. The knowledge they carried was immense, but even more important was the understanding of their responsibility. Elias spoke often, reminding the team that humanity's strength lay in choice, empathy, and connection. "We can't let this knowledge be a weapon," he said. "It's a guide. It's a tool to help humanity see its potential and to protect life across the stars." Dr. Soren nodded. "We've seen what other civilizations did wrong. We have the chance to do it right." Mara smiled faintly. "And we will. Humans have the courage to face the unknown and the wisdom to choose wisely. That's what makes us special." Elias looked out the window at the stars. For the first time, the vastness of space didn't feel empty. It was filled with possibility, connection, and the hope that humans could rise to meet the challenges ahead. Back on Earth, the lessons from the alien world would be shared carefully. Leaders, scientists, and thinkers would learn to balance knowledge with empathy, technology with understanding, and exploration with responsibility. Humanity had been given a gift, but it came with a promise to use it wisely. As the Aurelia approached Earth, Elias felt the familiar pulse of connection. The alien's hand had guided him, her trust had chosen him, and humanity's future had been touched by a species that had long since vanished, but left a legacy of wisdom. He turned to his team, smiling. "We've been given something incredible. Now it's our job to ensure it leads humanity toward greatness, not just to survive, but to thrive, connect, and inspire." Dr. Soren laughed softly. "And maybe one day other civilizations will see what humans are capable of. We've been tested and chosen. That means something." Mara nodded, her expression resolute. "It means we have work to do, and we will do it. For humanity, and for the galaxy." Elias watched the blue-green planet grow larger in the viewport. Earth. Their home. Full of people who could one day reach for the stars with wisdom, courage, and heart. The alien world had shown them the way, and now it was humanity's turn to walk it. As the landing pod descended through the atmosphere, Elias felt the weight of responsibility and the thrill of possibility. Humans had been chosen for a reason. They were capable of greatness not because they were the strongest, but because they could understand, connect, and choose, and for the first time, Elias Riker understood the true meaning of humanity's potential. The hand that had guided him would always be a symbol of trust, partnership, and hope. And as humans stepped onto the surface of their home world, they carried not just knowledge, but a promise to honor the lessons learned, to protect what mattered, and to shine as a beacon among the stars. The stars waited. Humanity was ready.